Hello everybody and welcome to Tom's Garage Fix. In today's video I'm going to be changing and showing you how to change the oil on a 2005 Infiniti G35 coupe. This does work with the sedan, and bear in mind this does work with the opposite side of the car, which is the Nissan 350Z. So let's get started. The first thing you're going to want to need if you choose is safety equipment. I highly suggest it. Get yourself a pair of cheap goggles. I got these at Home Depot. If you don't want your eyes to suffer, get a pair of these. You're going to need a pair of gloves, ideally to just keep your hands from oil free. It's completely up to you. You're going to need a 14mm socket to get the oil plug off. If you choose to, I've gone with a 10mm socket set. It's a rare case that the 10mm is actually found. This is for the under tray. If you choose to take the under tray off of the car, then you can do that. It's a bit more time, takes a little bit, maybe 10 to 15 minutes extra, but if you have the time, go ahead and do it. Next, you're going to need minimum 2-ton jack stands to keep the car held up while you're working underneath. The next thing is obviously the filter. If you're changing the oil filter on your car, I will put a link to both of these, the oil and the engine oil filter, in the description below. Today I'm using a Bosch 3300 premium oil filter, and I'm using Castrol Edge high mileage 5W30 fully synthetic oil. This is all of the stuff that you're going to need. One last thing is this thing. Your oil filter should technically be put on by hand, but this is a oil clamp or oil filter clamp to take the oil filter off. So if you can't get yours off, I highly suggest buying one of these. They're very inexpensive and they're a great tool to have on any other car. This is all the equipment that you're going to need. So let's get started. One last thing, I highly suggest getting one of these. You can pick them up from Walmart for around $10. As you can see, this is the 2005 Infiniti G35 coupe that we're going to be working on today. This particular one has the VQ 3.5 litre V6 in here. This is also the same engine that is in the 2005 Nissan 350Z. Now I have done a couple of things to prepare the car before I start working on it. I've already taken precautions and put a piece of cardboard underneath, and as you can see I've sort of started taking the under tray off. It's completely up to you. You can access the drain plug and the oil filter from without taking it off, but if you want to make your life easier and you have a bit more time, then go ahead and take it off. The other thing, if you've noticed, is I've jacked the car up already on some jack stands. Now if you don't know how to do this, as you can see along the top there is pinch welds on either side where the car is meant to be jacked up. So go ahead and put your 2 jack stands over there, as long as you have a jack as well supporting one of the sides for extra safety. So now that is all prepared and ready for us to work on, let's go ahead and start changing the oil. As you can see, I decided to go ahead and take the lower tray off just to show you what it looks like and a better view of underneath your car, so you can get a better idea of what it looks like under there. There are all the bolts. There's quite a lot of them, but excuse the phone, so we're going to go ahead and see what's underneath this car. So as you can see, it's pretty self-explanatory if you're any interested in home DIY mechanics. There is the drain plug for the engine, and there is the oil filter. So what we're going to go ahead and do right now is put our drain pan underneath, wait for it to drain, finish draining, then we're going to go ahead and take our oil filter off and wait for that to drain, and then we're going to go ahead and put our new oil filter on, re-plug that up and put oil in the top of the engine. So why don't we go ahead and do that right now. So right now what I'm going to go ahead and do, as you can see, we're going to go ahead and take this drain plug off right here. As I said before, you're going to need a 14mm socket for this one. So let's go ahead and take that off. Make sure you have your drain pan ready to catch all of the oil. Here we go, we can just be careful. As you can see, the oil is currently draining away, and we're going to leave this for about 15 minutes before we go ahead and put this bolt back in, and we're going to go ahead and take the oil filter out right there. So now we've let the oil drain out of the oil pan here. We're going to take our oil plug, just give it a quick wipe down with some tissue, or if you've got some gloves, just put your wipe your gloves on them, and we're just going to put the bolt back in. Be very, very careful. Make sure you're not going to cross thread anything, so it's a nice good seal. So once we've got this in like so, we're going to get our 14mm socket, and we are going to tighten this up, not too tight. We don't need it to go hugely tight, we just need to do it enough so it's going to stay on there and it's not going to move. So I'll be right back. So now that we've let this drain, we've put our plug back in, the next step is to take this thing off. This is the oil filter. So what we're going to go ahead and do is grab our special tool right here, and we're going to go ahead and clamp on, and we are going to take the oil filter off. So we've adjusted it like so, and then we can simply tighten it. As you can see, it's slowly draining out now. Just slowly undo it, so you don't want any oil going everywhere. And there we have it. We've taken our engine oil filter off. So we're just going to put this to one side and let it drain as well. So before you go ahead and put your new filter on, which is right here, go ahead and get a small cup of your new oil that you're going to put in the car, dip your finger in it and just rub it around the gasket of this new oil filter. This guarantees that it will seal correctly and that there's no chance of it coming off and there's no chance of it leaking. So go ahead and just put a fair amount of new oil onto this seal, like so. So as you can see, we have taken the old filter off successfully, and we are going to put our new one back on. So it's pretty much the same procedure. Go ahead, slide it back on and turn it clockwise. Make sure that when you do turn it on, feel around and make sure that you know that you're not cross-threading anything again. You do not want any of that to happen. So it's going on nice and smoothly. And at this point, once you've got it on, you're going to want to hand tighten it. So if you're wearing gloves, you can get a better grip at it. You just want to hand tighten it on to the point where you can't really turn it anymore, like so. So that's on. I'm happy with that. So the next step is to just, if you want to, give this a quick clean, like so, just to remove some of the oil. So same with the drain plug. What we're going to go ahead and do now is go up to the top of the car and start putting our fresh oil in. So now that we have done everything underneath the car, it's time to go to the top of the car. This is where your oil cap is located. I've already undone mine, so go ahead and undo your oil cap. Then we're going to go ahead and grab our fresh new oil. And if you do have one, it is incredibly handy. Make sure you have a funnel so you can get a clear and nice even flow all the way into the engine. So now we're going to go ahead and pour it in. So just a quick reminder that when you are doing this, if you are doing this oil change with the filter, then it takes exactly 5 quarts of oil. So if you go ahead and get one of the big containers that has 5 quarts, then you're all set to go. Then once you've finished, just go ahead and obviously put your cap back on. Don't do it too tight, just do it tight enough so you can get it undone with your hands next time. And that, everybody, is how you change the oil on a 2005 Infiniti G35 coupe. This also works with the Nissan 350Z of the same era, as they both have the same VQ V6 engine in them. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up and also consider subscribing as well. You might like all of my other future videos and the current videos that I've shot as well. Hope this video was helpful. Have a nice day.